Welcome back to the online classes of physics. This is your name. Is back again with a new topic, that is classification of elements, the periodic table. Okay, the classification of elements, that is nothing but your periodic table. So in the if you when you go for a medical shop and you will say, give me some so and so medicine, what the shopkeeper medicine chemist will do, he will be searching for the medicine, which one, where it is, no. So what he will do, he will just go, when you will say, if you ask him to give a dolo tablet of dolo, he will just go and pick up the tablet and give you, isn't it? How it is possible? Isn't it not difficult for him? And when you go for a big bazaar, you see that they are products arranged in a proper manner. In When you step into it, you see a particular arrangement of goods inside it. When you look for the needed grocery, you can select it and easily take it, isn't it? So from this observation, you understand that for any system involving several things, a particular order of arrangement of those things is necessary. Yes, isn't it? So whenever you have to, if you just throw your books like the jump randomly wherever you want in your home, will you find, when you want the book, will you find it? Whichever book you want, will you find it? No. To find out that also, you need to have a proper arrangement, so that as soon as you want, if something clicks in your mind that I want this book, you just go and pick up that book immediately. That should be in that order, isn't it? So similarly, Robert Boyle in 1661, what did he do in the year 1661? Defined an element such as a substance that cannot be decomposed into further simple substances by physical or chemical changes. He said that the element is such a substance which cannot be again decomposed or divided or separated or made into any other, more further. They are not divisible, and it is having a particular, they cannot be decomposed in further with any physical or chemical change. They cannot, any physical or chemical change cannot decompose the substance, and that is nothing but it is called as element. So at this time, about in the year till the year 1661, 13 elements were found. Okay, they discovered 13 elements. And so towards the end of the 18th century, by the time of Lavoisier, another 11 elements were discovered. By 1865, about 63 elements were known. 63 elements were known in the till the year 1865. By the year 1940, a total of 91 elements were found. By the year 1940, about 91 elements were discovered, and another 17 elements synthetically were obtained later. Okay, 91 were, 91 were the natural sources. They were obtained from the natural sources, and another 17 were discovered from the synthetic sources. So now you have these many elements, kept together. How will you recognize it? How will you say that this is so and so element? So by now, including synthetic elements, there are more than 115 elements. As the number of elements increased, it became very difficult to memorize the chemistries of individual elements and their compounds. So, in our previous classes, we have even learned about the metals and non-metals, isn't it? Like sodium, potassium, etc. These are the metals, and chlorine, sulfur, these are the non-metals. So by this classification had so many limitations. Aluminium has some metallic properties and some non-metallic properties. If you see aluminium, you can see that it has few of the metallic properties, as well as it has some few of the non-metallic properties. Now where to place this object, where to place this element, as it is not a metal, as it is not a non-metal. So where to place this element? So there were so many confusions. Elements of this type are considered as the metallites, that is semi-metals. So later on we came to know that they are called as metallites, or they can be also called as semi-metals. So there was a need to classify them in other ways. Hence, chemists started to frame ways to group these elements and compounds on the basis of their physical and chemical properties. So in the year 18th century, Joseph Louis Proust stated that hydrogen atom is a building material. Okay, every element in the groups, in the all the elements, what does they do? They combined with the hydrogen as well. They have the hydrogen atom present in it. So hydrogen atom is a building material, and atom of all the elements are simply due to the combination of the number of hydrogen atoms. So it is noted that at this time the atomic weight of the elements were given as the whole number of the atomic weight of the hydrogen. So what has happened? Doberener's law of triads. Well, let's learn about Doberener's law of triads. So Doberener's law of triads, in this, a person known as a scientist who was Johann Wolfgang Doberener, he said that there exists three elements which are having the similar, similar properties are taking. Then if you arrange them three in one order and you see the middle one, whichever is there, it will have a average of both the sidewise elements. For example, if we take lithium, sodium, potassium. If we arrange all these three in their order and you see that the atomic weights of the middle element is the average of the both the side element. For example, lithium atomic weight is 2. Okay. Sodium is 23 and potassium is 39. Okay, so now how he's saying that whatever this we have gained, sodium's atomic weight is 23, how you are getting, he's saying. So what we are doing, we are just doing the average of these two. So 7 plus 39 by 2. 7 plus 39 is how much? It's nothing but 40. So 7 plus 39 is 46 by 2. Then you will get this as 23. Isn't it? So atomic weight of sodium is 23. Similarly, if you take calcium, calcium's atomic weight is 40. Next we will take strontium, and strontium's atomic weight is 87.5. And you have barium. Barium's atomic weight is 137. Okay, now if you calculate this, how much you will get? The atomic weight 40 plus 137 by 2, which is equal to how much? 87.5. So it's nothing but 88.5. So what did he say? He just gave us a clue that atomic weight could not be correlated with the properties of elements, but it made chemists look at the elements in terms of group of elements with similar chemical and physical properties. So he got some idea how to arrange. They were just trying hard to arrange the elements in such a way that they can pick up the elements very easily. So he just got an idea how we can do this. He was just thinking we'll take the atomic weight as with some chemical and physical properties which are very similar. So but what happened, all the known elements at that time could not be arranged in the form of triads actually first. Then what happened, the law failed for very low mass or very high mass elements. So if the elements are, they are having an enough number of which where we can record the average, and we were able to find out. But the elements which were having, very low mass, that is low atomic weight and very high atomic weight, there this law was not able to follow. As for example, you take fluorine, chlorine, bromine. The atomic weight of chlorine is not an arithmetic mean of the weight of fluorine and bromine. And these laws did not remain to be strictly valid, because as the time was going on, as they were going with so many, as they were measuring the atomic masses further, they found that it is not valid, it is not applicable for other elements. So Newton's law of octaves. Newlands, a scientist, John Newlands, he was a British chemist. In 1865, he said that if the elements with similar chemical properties, again I'm telling chemical properties, if they are arranged in a row, okay, horizontal row, you can see if the eighth element also is present, it will be, having the similar chemical properties of the first. It will resemble the chemical properties of first element. If suppose the element, that is elements are arranged in their order like this. Suppose this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. They are arranged in the horizontal row, and you can find that the chemical property of first element is also resembled by the eighth element. So if the elements are present are arranged in the horizontal row based in their chemical properties, then you can find them something. This pattern was a little bit helpful. So what is the law of octet states? Octave states that when elements are arranged in the ascending order of their atomic weights, they fall into a pattern in which their properties repeat at regular intervals. Every eighth element starting from the given first element resembles its properties even of the starting element. So elements with similar chemical properties are to be present along a straight line. Newlands was the first to assign the atomic number to the elements. He was the first person who gave the atomic number. So what he did now, he gave the atomic numbers to the elements. For example, we have helium, hydrogen. Yes, we have fluorine, chlorine, and cobalt, nickel, bromine, lead, iodine, all these arranged in one row, isn't it? So unfortunately his work was neither accepted by the seniors nor by the Journal of the Chemical Society, which rejected its publication. Okay, then in Newland's table of elements, we can start with hydrogen and move down to the oxygen. Okay, like hydrogen, lithium, oxygen. Okay, so here we can go directly to the oxygen. If we start from the hydrogen, we can move down to the oxygen and then start at the top. The eighth element from the hydrogen is fluorine. Okay, from here again 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 till here 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Then the eighth element will be fluorine. Okay, fluorine, sodium, magnesium, aluminium, silicon, like this. Okay, sodium, magnesium, aluminium, silicon, phosphorus, sulfur. Okay, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. He said like this. Okay, but Newland's law table is not without problems. It is not filled without problems. Okay, there are instances of two elements fitted into the same slot. Example, cobalt and nickel. As I said, the elements are fixed like this. You can see in this table here, you can see that cobalt and nickel are placed in one table only. You can see 22 is the number given to cobalt and nickel. So how is that possible? That is not possible, isn't it? They should be placed in different tables, boxes. Certain elements totally dissimilar in their properties were fitted into the same group. So same group elements were also fitted with different properties. For example, you can see here he arranged cobalt, nickel, lead, platinum, which has different properties compared with the halogens in the same row. Okay, fluorine, chlorine, bromine has different properties, and cobalt, nickel, lead, platinum, and this have different properties. So Newland's periodic table was restricted only to 56 elements, and others did not valid for it. So what did he say? He attempted the link. He attempted to link the periodicity of the chemical properties of the elements with the periodicity found in the music. In musical scale, any note in a key is separated from its octave by an internal interval of 7 notes. This must have made him to force all the elements into the active pattern, sometimes without carrying the similarities. So with this, we came with the two laws, that is we have learned about the first. We have seen that how how the robot Boyle have started the these elements, how he came to know about the elements, how these have started, and Robert Dobrino gave the third law of triads, and then the Newland's law of octaves came into existence. Then later we will learn about the other law, how the periodic table came into existence in our next video. And thank you for watching. If you did not understand, please go twice and try to understand it. Until then, wait for the next video. Thank you.